Hey guys, welcome back to Driven Channel. I'm here with a very important guest. I met Peter on social media. I think
Instagram.
Instagram, right? I was on the live and you came up and
Yeah.
we met, and then we started doing things together, business together. Peter, you have an incredible story of like ups and downs too.
Absolutely.
Like how you were you got a little bit unhealthy. You battled it. But very impressive what you built. You have this company, IT company, right? You explain it better than me. But you built this IT company. You work with a lot of companies, other businesses,
Yep.
and you help them stay in business and protect themselves because, like you were telling me, a lot of companies go out of business because they're not secured, and somebody breaks in, they hack it. I don't know how that works. I've always been told like you need antivirus, you need to have a strong a server. The good thing is that I've never been broken into.
Yeah.
But tell me, like, why did you get into that space, and how did you start your company?
I've been in IT since 1989. I know that's going to age me a little bit, but I originally thought I wanted to be an engineer. Went to tech school in Arizona and just didn't like it. So I left early, came back home, and was kind of just figuring out what I wanted to do and working in between jobs. And then my girlfriend at the time got pregnant, so I knew now life's getting serious.
Mm-hmm.
So I took a job at a bakery. So I don't know if you guys heard of the Bodine Bakery in San Francisco, famous sourdough bakery.
I've never been there, but I heard about it.
Yeah, I used to deliver bread to all the stores.
Mm.
So did that for about 2 years, and then an opportunity came up with a tech company.
Mm-hmm.
But back then it was like mainframes. You know, the disk drives were huge,
Yeah.
dishwashers, and the opportunity was warehouse manager. But I knew that was like my way in. And I'll never forget it. It was 18,200 a year to manage the warehouse. So I just said, what do I have to lose? Fuck it. So I did it. I kind of, mastered, got everything in order that they wanted me to get in order, and then started talking to the sales guys, and they said, hey, you want to do some cold calls? So yeah, fuck it. Started doing some cold calls, started doing purchasing, started doing a lot of different things that were needed in the business, and spent 5-6 years there. And then I used to do business with this lady. I used to buy drives from her, and she was an outside salesperson. And one day she goes, hey, this company I work for based in San Diego is looking for a regional manager in Northern California. I go, I'm comfortable, I'm good, I'm making, I got up to about 60 grand a year, have 3 kids, they just, whatever, I'm not really interested. She goes, look, never forget what she said. She goes, go meet with Brian, who was the VP at the time, who says, what's worst case scenario? He'll offer you a job and you say no. Makes sense. So I went, we had a good conversation. He flew me down to San Diego, met with the president, and then they sent me an offer letter. It was during the holidays. I'll never forget it. It was like a guarantee for 3 months. Mm. So it was less than I was making, but it was a $3,000 a month guarantee for the first 3 months, and after that it became a recoverable draw. So they give you the money, but you have to pay it back against commissions. And I went and I met him up in the office, and then I found out that the office had been deserted for like 6 months. So they lost contact with a lot of the clients. So he came in, we went to the store, bought a bunch of computer stuff, and did 2 days of training. And then he comes into the office, and he had a stack of paper. He goes, here's all the customers, I'm flying back to San Diego, call me if you have any questions. So I just started picking up the phone and making calls, and I had 3 kids to feed. So I always tell people all the time, that was my biggest motivation. Nobody needed to tell me to wake up in the morning, get up to get things done, because I had mouths to feed.
So you had 3 kids, and this is what year?
This was 90, my son was born in 91, so this was like 92.
But you have 3 kids?
Yeah, I have 3, 2 girls and a boy.
How old are your kids?
My
right then?
daughter's going to be 38. Oh, then or now?
Yeah, then.
Oh, my son was just born, so he was a year old. My middle daughter was, she was born in 89, so she was going on 4. And then my oldest daughter was going on 7, 8.
So when that's happening, what do you think your daughters did for your drive?
Everything. My kids, I didn't have the best childhood growing up, so I knew, once I started having kids, I wanted better for them. and I wanted to do everything for them, make sure
Yeah.
they had the life that I didn't have. So once I started having kids, that was my motivation to get. I mean, when I took that job, the office was in San Jose, which was 2 hours from where I lived.
Yeah.
So making that drive, coming back home late at night, sometimes sleeping in a hotel, waking up, working, then coming back on the weekends. And but I eventually got them to agree to move the office a little closer to where I lived.
Mm-hmm.
But that was my motivation.
So what happens when do you start your own business?
So what ended up happening is I was at this company for 3 years, and then I got an offer from a competing company that was local.
Mm-hmm.
Gave me a big signing bonus and everything, so I took it. Unbeknownst to me, they were getting acquired. And the company that was acquiring them, it was a big company that had manufacturing, they had shipping, receiving, everything on that side, and then a sales team. But the company that was acquiring them was only interested in the sales team.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of divided up the company, basically a nightmare situation to be in. So I lasted about 6 months there. And at that point I said, I'm done with the corporate stuff. I just don't want to deal with it anymore, right? Because I'm already making all the money. I'm in sales. So I talk to the customer.
How much money were you making back then?
I was already making over 100. And then I just became manufacturer's rep. So I had a couple different companies that I talked to, and I repped their products.
Yeah.
And did that, mid 90s to early 2000s. And then I had a gentleman that I met through one of the companies that approached me and said, hey, I want to start a data storage business. I want you to run it. So we negotiated, got a pretty good deal, and I built that up for him. But we got into a little predicament. It's probably my first, trial and tribulations moment. We had a client that was buying, $250,000 of product at a time, but they were on credit hold. So we say, well, you can't release the order until we get a check. So they would send us a check that we'd release the order, and that went on for about 6 months. And then finally, they sent us a check, we shipped out an order, and I'll never forget it. It was Friday night. My family at the time was already in the car getting ready for dinner, and he calls me and goes, hey, Peter, I got some bad news. And I say, what? He goes, they shut down my line of credit. And at that point, I didn't know what that meant. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? He goes, can't make payroll. I'm like, oh, fuck. And then he goes, I said, well, can I get some of the hardware back? He goes, no, doors are shut. We're filing for bankruptcy. And at that point, it kind of hit my stomach. But then I just went downstairs, went out to dinner with my family, and just said I would deal with it. And then we were ready to absorb that cost. But what happened is, because he sent us a check 2 weeks before he did that, with the trustee of his bankruptcy considered that a preferential payment. So they wanted it back. There's no way I had the money to give it back. So I had to file for chapter 11. Bankruptcy 2000, this was probably 2007.
This was right when the market was getting
exactly
bad.
2007, I filed for bankruptcy, and I was able to manage that, but I didn't have the best bankruptcy lawyer. And what ended up happening is I was flying to Chicago to meet with one of my clients, and at the time I probably had maybe 40 grand in the bank. And I went to check in. I was using a debit card to check in, and the card wouldn't work. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I went and I called in the bank. All the money was gone. The trustee took all that money. So here I was in Chicago trying to check into a hotel because I was meeting with one of my top clients, and I was basically broke. And I don't remember what I did. I don't know if I called in a favor, somebody to get a room for me, but I ended up getting the room after dealing with some stuff. And we conducted business. We did the trip. Luckily, I already had the flight was paid for. I flew back home and just started figuring out what I wanted to do. And I finally made a decision. I'm done partnering. I'm done dealing with other people. I'm starting my own business.
That's what I would have done. I would have just called somebody. Hey, give me a room.
Yeah, I don't know who I called.
Yeah.
Because it just happened so fast. But I was just so frustrated that my lawyer didn't tell me to take the money out of the bank before this guy took it.
So talk about the bankruptcy. So you filed for bankruptcy, and now people see like your success, your business, the lifestyle that you have, with your family, the way you take care of them. But back then, when you filed bankruptcy, why did you file bankruptcy? Did you feel that was the only way out?
Yeah, because
and also, do you regret it, or
No.
was it a good idea or a good move? Because I know a lot of wealthy people that file bankruptcy, but people don't understand that could be good. Like, how did it work for you?
Well, it was the only option I had, because the business that put us in that predicament, Because when you file for bankruptcy, they assign it to a trustee. The trustee is just like an attorney that reviews the person's assets and sees how much of that they can collect. Then they pay themselves. Then whatever's left, they give out to the creditors. But they wanted that $200,000 check back. I didn't have that. He already owed us $200,000 that we were never going to see. Mm-hmm. So it was either pay that money back or file for bankruptcy. So I just said, fuck it, let's just do it. So I filed for bankruptcy. It took care of all of that, but he took that 40 grand that I had, and I wasn't aware of that, and I was broke. So I came back. This was February. I came back and I said, I'm just done. I'm gonna start my own business. But I was so paranoid of the trustee that when I started the business, I put in my daughter's name. So I didn't have to.
This is your 38-year-old.
Yeah, she was at the time. So this was 2008. So she was, what are we in? She was in her mid 20s.
Is she your favorite?
I don't have favorites. People always ask me. If you ask her, she'll tell you my middle daughter's my favorite, but I don't have favorites.
Yeah.
I love my kids equally, and I'll do anything for them.
Because you talk a lot about your daughters.
Well, because she was my firstborn and my second, and
she's the one that you do real estate with, right?
No, my middle daughter, Brittany, I do real estate with.
Okay.
But as a dad, when you start having daughters, you become very protective. Mm-hmm. I used to joke around with my daughters when they were little. I used to say, you know what, whatever you guys do, don't get daddy put in jail. Meaning that if you got in the wrong predicament and somebody did something to you guys, I would, I'd be very upset, and I'd probably do something that would put me in jail.
Yeah.
Because you have daughters.
Yeah.
You're very protective of your daughters.
Yeah. They're 4 years apart, right?
2 years apart.
2 years.
All
apart.
my kids are 2 years apart.
Did they fight a lot? Your daughters?
Not a lot. No.
Yeah. Were you very? Did you give them like everything?
Spoil the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't have, but I did.
Yeah.
Because I wanted them to have everything that I did.
That's what my daughters are.
Yeah.
They love going to the convenience store and the hotels and buying a bunch of stuff.
Christmas would be like new MacBook computers, Louis Vuitton bags, all that shit. Spoil the shit out of them.
So talk about, you opened your business under your daughter's name.
Correct.
Right? Is she involved in the business
Not
too?
anymore. She was. She worked for me for a couple years.
This is the IT company, right?
Yeah. Well, it was an IT company, but back then I was still doing hardware sales to all the big banks.
Got it.
So we would sell servers, storage, a lot of boxes. And then what we did is I was so paranoid that every time we got a check from a client, I would go to the check cashing place and cash it. Because I was paranoid.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about bankruptcy at the time. I know now because I studied it, but didn't know anything about it. Lawyer was terrible. And then probably six months in, I finally said, fuck it, I'm done. Let's do business as usual.
Was this lawyer cheap?
At the time, probably not. Probably cost me $4 or $5 grand.
Yeah, because that's a mistake I made in the past. Like I didn't know any better, so I would hire just whatever attorney gave me the best deal. And cheap attorney is not always the best attorney.
No.
They just get you. They kind of make it longer than it's supposed to be, and you end up paying more. And like what happened to you too. Like now you're out of your 40.
Attorneys have the best business. They charge for every minute that they talk.
And I think they charge by the hour, right?
Yep.
Not by the if you
well,
for
the
5 minutes.
bankruptcy, they give you a set price because they know what it's the work the work and time that it's gonna take.
Yeah. Whenever they would answer an email, I would get charged, I think, 30 minutes or an hour, something like that.
Absolutely.
So like if you're gonna squeeze something out of them, you make sure you have an hour worth.
But to have a business, it's always good to have good attorneys on your side that you can lean on when you have issues.
Yeah.
So
when you started your business, how do you get your first clients and how do you start?
I already
making
had
money?
the clients. So the clients came over
your book of
with
business.
me. Yeah. Doing sales. So,
when you started your own business, like you go from making what to what?
Well, now when I started the thing that I really enjoy, when I started my business, prior to my business, I would close a deal and I get a commission. Now when I got my business and I close a deal, I get the full check. And I got to manage all the expenses.
How much were you getting paid commission? How much?
I wasn't paying myself commission. I was just running the business.
No, but when you
it would be anywhere from, if I was getting commission based on profit, it was about 25% of the profit. If it was based on revenue, anywhere from 2 to 5% of total revenue.
That's where you used to work.
All locations.
Yeah.
That's how the industry was back then.
So now you started the business. Now you keep all of it, but now you have to pay everything.
Well, you got to pay all the expenses.
What was the biggest difference that you realized when you started your own thing?
The biggest shocker for me is payroll. payroll in California is double taxed.
Mm-hmm.
So if I pay you $1,000 a month, I'm really paying you $1,200 a month, and then you're going to pay taxes on that same money. So that was like, that threw me for like a loop. I think my biggest experience with taxes is when I went to work for that company for a short period. I booked a big deal, probably like $400,000 deal. And I was thinking, that was going to be my biggest commission check to date. I was thinking, I'm going to get a check for 30 grand, 35 grand. Can't wait. And then the check came and I opened it up and it was literally 12 grand. Mm. They took more than half.
So what exactly do you do? So you work with, you took your book of business.
Yep.
Did you keep adding more
We added more. So we were in the hardware business.
Yeah.
And then up until about 2017, 18, I knew I wanted to add to that and build something that had some meat and potatoes in it. Because hardware business, your company's not worth anything. There's no value, right? Because you're only as good as your last sale. So we got in. We were already helping some customers locally with IT with services, things like that. So I got into, it's called MSP, Managed Services Provider. So companies will, usually there's two approaches. There's a small company that starts small, and maybe the operations manager is also managing the IT side of the business. As they get big, he can't do both, right? He's got to focus on his primary responsibility, so they hire us to manage all their IT services, everything. Anything connected to network, we're going to manage it. We'll manage it nowadays, because the landscapes have changed with security, and we protect it. Back up all the data, make sure everything's secure, so that if there is a problem, we can.
So you went from selling the hardware to providing a service, a monthly service.
Yep.
And you sign companies up for like a contract, like 1 year, 6 months, is a month.
When we first started doing that, it was contracts. Now, if we do something, it's a 1 year agreement. But I don't lock anybody into my contracts. I don't believe in doing that. I think your service should speak for itself. And if you're providing a high level of service and you're delivering a high level of product and you're taking care of their environment, they're just going to want to
So
stay.
You sign a 1 year contract, but you let them break it if they.
Well, our contracts have a 60-day cancellation. But like for renewals, it just renews automatically. And usually when you get a new customer, they don't want to sign a long-term deal because they're not used to you yet. They don't know you.
Is 1 year the magic number?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because 2-3 years, they're probably going to be like, it's too
We've
long.
had, when we first started, there was a couple customers after the first year, we renewed them for 2 or 3 years, and we give them a discount. But I don't lock in it. Like when I'm buying from vendors, if they want to lock me in a contract, I won't do it. Because my mindset is your product should speak for itself, and if your product is providing me an ROI, then why would I quit? Why would I cancel it?
Yeah.
So
when you sign a contract, you sign the contract, you sign 1 year, but then they pay you every month.
Yeah, every month.
And what is your typical clientele?
Like vertical? Or dollar amount?
Industry-wise.
Industry, we do medical practices, we do law firms, we do real estate, we do construction, we do engineering.
So in real estate, what do you do exactly, and how do you protect the real estate company?
Real estate, it's larger, usually anywhere, because we won't do anything under 10 employees, because it's just a lot of time and money.
Yeah.
But for bigger ones, it's the same thing we do for everybody else. We're locking down their computers, we're locking down their email, we're sniffing out the networks to make sure nothing's funny going on in the networks. You got to remember, 90% of attacks are started from an internal employee clicking on the wrong link.
Like porn?
No, it couldn't be porn. It could be somebody sends them an email.
Yeah.
Somebody sends them an email and says, "Hey, open this up."
But if they're in the on the wrong websites,
it could happen. Yeah, it could happen. But a lot of companies filter that stuff out. So what we'll do is they'll tell us whitelist these websites and block all these websites. So we can actually block
it, like YouTube and all that stuff.
All
so
of that.
That way they're not distracted.
Yeah. From the firewall.
Yeah. That increases productivity too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's actually companies that use their software out there that some companies use that'll tell them what each employee is doing. So like some companies get mad when an employee is working and they're looking for a job on company time.
Maybe you could help me put all that.
Whatever you want. We can take care of it. You got a good team here though.
Yeah.
But yeah, because the network, you can sniff all of the data. Everything's there. Everything runs through the firewall.
I'm going to put it on Maria's computer.
He's going to see nothing.
But yeah, so we do all that.
So you do all that. And then what's the worst, what's the scary, because people that are watching this, they're like, well, why do I need an IT? I'm not that. I have 10 employees, but I've never experienced anything bad. But it's you don't experience it till it happens. But once it happens, like, what's the worst thing that could happen?
There's two reasons. So if you don't have an IT person or IT staff, which I think a staff is better, because why would you want to rely on one person? If he's out sick, if he gets COVID, if he gets mad and he's mad at you and then he has all your passwords, puts him in a predicament. It's better to have a team who's insured, has all the coverages, and you can hold them accountable. If something breaks and your employees can't work, they can't do sales, they can't access the computer, phones go down, money's lost. So we keep everything running so there's no issues, and then B, we protect it, because all it takes is one bad link, and they'll steal all your data. And then what they do now, because now they have these hacker like cartels, because they gather together, they use AI to accelerate the process. And now what they do, if you don't pay the ransomware, they'll post all your data on a public site.
Yeah.
And share it with your competitors.
Yeah. Maria, check Waze and everything and just text me the hard stop. Okay. 12:15 hard stop? Okay.
What time we got? What do you have now?
We got about 20 minutes. Yeah. So what in the real estate industry, you have quite a few real estate companies?
We have a couple, that have been with us for
so
quite a while.
what should they be protected from?
A couple
Social
of things.
Security numbers, addresses.
Yeah. So what we do is we have software that's loaded on the computers. It'll tell us if somebody has files on their computers that they shouldn't, like files with Social Security numbers, credit card numbers, because they can hack and steal those. And then now you're responsible. If the client, the person can prove that it came from your system, now you're liable for that.
What about for me? Let's say or not me, but let's just say there's an online coach and he has like his CRM, Go High Level, and there's credit cards that are saved there. Can somebody hack into that and steal all the credit cards?
Absolutely. I don't know, because we use Go High Level as well. We work with Rafael and Natalie as well. Like for any cloud-based logins, because we use those also for our services, we recommend that multi-factor authentication is used, which is basically when you log in, there's an app you use and it gives you a code every time, a different code every time. So you punch in that code and now you log in. So even if somebody steals your credentials, they're not going to get past that because of multi-factor authentication.
You know what happened to me once, and this is, I don't know if you know about this or you also help protect the Facebook accounts, but they hacked into my Facebook account. I don't know how they did it, but they hacked into my Facebook account and then they started running ads from my Facebook account. Yeah. And long story short, they killed my Facebook account. So Facebook sent me emails and then they said you're not able to run ads anymore, and they blocked my account. I couldn't get in there for like 2.5 years. I couldn't go into my Facebook account. So I still had my Instagram, but I couldn't get into my Facebook account, so I couldn't run ads. This was like from 2018 all the way till about 2020 summer.
Wow.
And I just couldn't get in there. And I kept trying, and then one day, 2020, like in the middle of summer, like I'm able to go back in. I reset my password, and I get the text authorization codes that you get.
Well, that's multi-factor authentication.
And that helped. But like, how safe am I, or people that are doing a lot of stuff online? How safe are you from somebody breaking into your social media and hacking you?
If somebody wants to target you, they'll get your stuff. Now, granted, Facebook, Instagram, they got a little smarter, and they've added that multi-factor authentication. Google's doing it now with emails, where you got to punch in the code, so it's a lot harder. But now with AI, it's easier for them to do it. So I would, now I think now if somebody logs into your account, you get an email automatically, like somebody logged into your account.
Yeah.
Or if you, like maybe you were in Scottsdale when you logged into Facebook or Instagram, it said, hey, somebody in Scottsdale logged into your account.
Yeah.
Always check that. And if it's not you, reset your password immediately.
What about bank accounts? Do you protect people from people logging into their
Well,
bank
yeah,
accounts?
if they're logging into the cloud, but bank accounts, you always want to have that a multi-factor authentication as well.
Yeah.
But if you're logging in like from work, you want to make sure that your network is secure. Cloud, people think because we're working on the cloud, it's safe. Cloud is, anybody can access.
What about LastPass? Is that safe?
I use LastPass.
Yeah.
Just be careful. Like what I do is I I make sure all my passwords are like 20 characters long. And then the last pass will have you change them every so often. Because there's a report you can run. You've heard of the dark web?
No.
Yeah, you can run a report and it'll tell you.
How safe you are?
It'll tell you what they have on you.
Huh. What is that?
Like
What does
if
that
you
mean?
use easy passwords, like you say your pet's name, or one of your daughter's name is your password with a couple digits, it ends up on the black web, and that means it's free for any hacker to actually get it. Most people aren't doing that now because that's been out for 5-6 years now. But it'll tell you. So when we have a customer, we run those reports just to make sure. We had a customer. What was the last one we had? We had a customer who thought their email was hacked, and we immediately will reset the passwords for them, so they don't have to worry about it. Because they could be on the road. You could be driving from Vegas to Scottsdale, and you get a thing. It's hard for you to pull over and change your passwords. We do all that for them.
And what is your biggest client? Like what? Not the name, but what's your typical big client that you get? Big account.
We've got a couple accounts that range anywhere from 10 to 20 grand a month. It could be anywhere. The sweet spot for us is probably 30 to 150 employees, because those are usually range anywhere from $4 grand a month.
But by employees, do you mean because let's say you have 40 employees?
We charge
that means
per employee.
you have to protect every computer, like the 40 computers.
Well, we don't care about computers. I think with us, we'll allow because most employees have a laptop. They may have a computer at the office, and they may have a cell phone.
Yeah.
So I think we allow them to have up to 5 devices, but we charge per employee.
Also, you protect the phones of the employees too.
Everything, yeah. We can, yeah.
So you protect it when they log into the Wi-Fi. That's when they're being protected.
Well, these days you got to watch out. We just posted an article. My VA just posted an article. The biggest hack right now is these free Wi-Fi's. Like you're at Starbucks, or you're on the plane. Yeah. What they're doing is it's like an imposter. They're making these Wi-Fi's look like they're free Wi-Fi's when they're actually not. And it's a hacker that's creating this. And then once your device logs into that Wi-Fi, they have access.
What?
Yeah. So you gotta be careful. Like make sure you're logging into like a known
So
Wi-Fi.
what if I do Tokaya guest Wi-Fi? It's free.
I wouldn't do it.
It's,
Do you have to do it?
it's,
Yeah,
it's
these
a
days with
restaurant next door.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
So when you go to restaurants and they offer free Wi-Fi, you would. It's
If
dangerous?
you go there a lot and you know the Wi-Fi name and it's the same, yes. But if this is your first time there,
Yeah.
let's say it's Tokaya and maybe their Wi-Fi was Tokaya 1 and somebody wrote Tokaya instead, it's going to look like it's for the restaurant when it's not.
But when you click to join, it doesn't ask you for anything.
No,
So
free.
they'll still steal your stuff.
because they're connected to your device now.
So they could go in your device and just start getting all your
Yeah,
stuff.
they could. A lot of it is still
Do
secure
you
because
know how to do that?
I can't do that.
Do you know how to hack people?
No, I'm not a hacker.
No.
No, but the companies that work with us, what they're called now is threat hunters. They go out there looking for the potential threat, and they eliminate it. And then the software that we load on devices, these guys are actually monitoring it 7/24, looking for it. So if they see something that's fishy, they'll isolate it and they'll remove it from the device before it becomes a problem. Because a lot of times what hackers do is they plant seeds. You may not know there could be something on your computer, and then it's a date. So maybe November 1st, it's gonna go off.
And you said that you got to be careful with the emails you get if you click.
Absolutely, 90% of attacks are started from an internal employee. Years ago, what they used to do is they would they go into a parking lot where all the employees park, and they would drop these USB drives in the parking lot. Because when a person gets that USB drive, what's the first thing they're gonna do when they
Put
get
it in
into the
their
office?
computer?
Bingo, hacked. They don't do that anymore because people are onto it now.
So even if you just as soon as you stick it in,
Done.
don't you have to put information or
No.
passwords?
No. Once you stick it in, it appears. With some USB drives, it appears like a D drive or a G drive, but they have code that actually gets loaded on your computer.
So what if it's a company that you're servicing and they put that chip inside the computer? Are they safe?
We'll catch it, we'll isolate it, but it's all timing. But we educate our clients because we don't want them to do that.
Yeah.
It's a ever-changing landscape. These guys, the minute you we detect something, and the minute the companies we work with detect something, they're coming out with something new.
Yeah.
So it's like a chase, right?
Yeah.
You got the hackers and the threat hunters,
Yeah.
right? So it's constant, and it's 7 by 24, 365 days a week.
So, Peter, to close out here, how many companies are you working with right now, and are you looking to add more businesses?
Absolutely. Right now, I think we're up to about 30. We've expanded into San Jose. We're in Sacramento. And after a good conversation with Rafael, we decided to just open up California. Why focus on Northern California?
Yeah.
Because 90% of the stuff we can do remotely. And if we have to go on site, we send a tech on site.
Yeah. And if people want to reach out to you, they want to hire you for your services, where can they reach you?
They can call me. 707-689-3999 is my direct line. They'll get me. They can go on to our website, datastore.com, and there'll be a little link that they can click on to schedule a meeting.
Yeah.
So, or social.
And then on the, like, let's say you mentioned a few industries that you help.
Yeah.
Is it basically everybody that uses Wi-Fi? Is that the main thing that you have to, if they use Wi-Fi and they have 10 employees plus?
Yeah, minimum of 10 employees. Doesn't matter if they use Wi-Fi. I mean, most companies use Wi-Fi.
Or internet, right?
Yeah, internet. Minimum 10 employees, or if maybe they have 8, but they're adding employees.
Yeah.
We'll work with them as well.
Yeah.
There's 2 reasons people work with us. Like I said, one is the guy started small, and he's doing everything, and as he gets big, he can't do both. So they'll call us in because we can do it a lot cheaper than hiring an IT person.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's going to be a lot more cost effective than hiring an IT person, and then now you're giving the keys to the castle to that one IT person.
Yeah.
So he has all his leverage.
Mm-hmm.
We have insurances. We're not going to ruin our reputation by going after a company or anything like that. Just not worth it. Our goal is to take care of as many businesses that we can.
Yeah.
Keep them safe.
Yeah. And anything else you want to share about, like, your company or what you offer? Before
I mean, we do free network assessments. So what we do is there's agents that we can load on a couple of your computers. It'll tell us if there's any immediate red flags that you should be aware of. Kind of goes out there and says, hey, you got some data here that maybe you shouldn't have, or you maybe have an isolated potential threat. And we do that at no cost. They can call us up, schedule a meeting. Takes about 25 minutes to load the agents. We only have to load it on 2 or 3 computers,
Mm-hmm.
and 2 days later we'll have a report back.
That's awesome. And have you looked around our stuff right here?
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
What you could probably help, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, Peter, it's been great. I know you gotta fly out somewhere. Are you guys
Absolutely.
going on vacation or something?
Going back home.
Back home?
This was half vacation and half work. My
Yeah.
wife was at Disneyland.
Mm.
I don't like Disneyland because I think it's just. I used to go a lot of times. I've been with my
Yeah,
granddaughter
yeah.
multiple times, but I'm just not a fan.
Yeah.
I don't like crowds, and I don't like wasting money on things that don't produce ROI.
There you go. There you go. So thank you so much. If you guys want to reach out to Peter, you have a company, a business, 10 employees plus, right? It's
Yep.
kind of like what you focus on.
Or you're getting to that point.
Yeah,
Call
or you're
us.
getting there. Contact Peter. He'll provide you. He'll protect your company from any threats. And you said a lot of businesses, when they get attacked, sometimes it's too late and they could literally.
Well, they're
put
going
them
to
out
get
of
attacked.
business.
There's 2 things. So it's either ransomware means that they're going to get attacked and they're going to lock all your data and say you have to pay us $1 million, $2 million, Bitcoin, whatever it could be. And if you don't pay it, they're going to put your stuff on a public site and share it with your competitors and all your employees.
Wow.
And then cyber attack is where they're either stealing information off your computer. There's ones they're doing now where somebody will create an email looking like it's coming from
Yeah.
you. Maria gets an email and says, hey, pull this money out and send it here. 'Cause I need
Well, they
cash.
stole everybody's social security numbers. I don't know if you heard about
exactly.
that. Yeah.
So now everybody's on high alert.
Yeah.
Because she could get an email from you saying, hey, I need this money now.
Mm-hmm.
So what we suggest is call Howard and ask them if that's actually real.
Yeah.
And never click on a link if you don't know who it came from.
Got it.
Never.
Awesome. Well, Peter, I'll put your information below. Contact
Okay.
Peter. And thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, brother.